Yes, I'm trying to reach a in room 401, please.
Certainly. Uh, 401, was that certain? I'm not showing a person in that room right now.
Okay, I was given the room 401, and it was supposed to be a man under the name of... Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, that would be 1401.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll try.
Hello?
Hello, is this Mr. Westerberg?
Yes.
Hello, my name's Sherry Kennison. I'm with the Ashland Daily Independent.
Can I call you back in, well, can you give me a call back in maybe 2 or 3 minutes here? I got someone at the door.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
But I'm doing good.
I heard you had a little trouble with your hotel room.
And, in wherever we were supposed to be, we came to St. Louis instead, which was a blessing, because we're at a nice place here, and it's always nicer to be somewhere civilized.
Well, I can get right to the questions if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, this album is the first of yours, if I'm not wrong, to be produced by Brendan O'Brien. Do you think he brought any elements to the album?
Yeah, he sure brought a lot of amplifiers to the record. I mean, he actually only co-produced 3 tracks. We started, Brendan and I, with the notion that he was going to produce the record. And as the session progressed, I felt that I needed to go home and rewrite some and actually write some more material. So in the end, I produced the record. And the ones that Brendan worked on, I think, are Love Untold and 2 others. But he brought, like I say, he had a lot of equipment and certainly a knowledge of rock and roll. I think perhaps maybe his sound was not what I really wanted in the very end, but his expertise is without parallel.
Well, I've heard the album, and I'm quite impressed. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. My fiancé was the first one to introduce me to the Replacements way back when, and your music. And when he was younger, he said there was always something in your music he could relate to about real life. It wasn't just glam rock about women and drugs. And
Right.
there were elements of pain and isolation that many people seem to identify with. Do you feel you've always had a sort of special insight into life, a talent to capture a story in a phrase?
It may be more of a grassroots notion that I know in my heart I'm not the greatest singer or guitar player or best-looking guy, and I feel that if I'm going to go up there and do it, that I've really got to tell the truth. And I think people relate to that, and they know that I'm, sometimes I'm clowning, but I do mean what I say, and they respect that. It's just not all show business as much as I like to pretend it is sometimes, just to have fun. There's some deep meaning to many of these tunes. And, myself, I like a song that means something, and I think the audience does as well.
Now, there was a review, I'm not going to mention the magazine, and is that the door?
Yeah, 1 moment, please, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. There was one magazine that said, "You obviously don't enjoy your job anymore," and I couldn't read anything further from the truth, from my opinion. How would you respond to that?
We don't even have to respond, Things like that don't even, in my opinion, warrant any response.
Do you often impersonate dead presidents or only in L.A.?
What does that mean?
I read about you impersonating RFK.
I don't know anything about that. That must be a vicious rumor.
I've seen pictures. Your tour seems so sudden. Was it always planned or just a last-minute decision?
No. I mean, I knew the moment that I wrote These Are the Days 3 years ago that was the beginning of the cycle, which would end up touring, We didn't announce it a long
How do you?
So I think that was the reason they didn't announce it so a long time ago.
How do you think you all are going to work together?
I think it's from the progress we made from night one to night two. I'm very excited because last night was really good. The first night was not bad, and just from my own memory, it usually took replacements a couple weeks before we got into the groove. And these guys are some pretty good musicians. I mean, Michael Bland is an incredibly good drummer. He's spent 8 years playing with Prince, so he's very schooled, and he's disciplined, and he's also versatile as hell. And Tommy Keene, of course, is he knows the ropes. So I think we're gonna get better as we get along too.
Well, I certainly can't wait till you roll into my neighborhood.
I'm looking forward to it. I've got. I don't believe what you hear. I'm enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to. At least now I'm saying this. You're catching me early in the tour. Maybe in 3 months I might be a little bit tired, but now I'm pretty fresh, and I'm into it right now.
Now, I know Tommy Stinson worked with you on Trumpet Clip. How did this come about?
Oh, Tommy lives in L.A., and that's where I went out to record the second part of the record, and I just invited him down. It was no big deal. I just said, come on down, and bring your bass if you want. And we played a couple tunes. That was the one that ended up on the record. I think there was one or two others that didn't make it, but yeah, it was just like old times. I mean, we can do this forever. He and I. He didn't even have to know what key the song was in. He just sort of heard it once and just jumped right in like he always did. So that felt good.
Now on the track Mama Daddy Did, you reveal a lot in that song. Are you really dead set against children? I mean, were you that bad of a kid?
No, see, that's the problem when you write a song like that, because people tend to, associate you with the lyric like that's exactly what I meant. There's more than one meaning to that. Actually, my first thought when I wrote it was decided not to have any children, just like my mom and dad decided not to have any. And obviously they had some, didn't they? So there's a little more tongue in cheek to the tune than some people are taking it. It's not anti-children at all, and the key word is raise as opposed to have. Decide not to raise the children that I have or may have, like my mom and daddy did.
I hear you're going to film an episode of Homicide Life on the Streets. Is acting a future career move for you, or just something you're trying out?
Well, they told me just the other day that's in the works, and now maybe it isn't. I don't know. You have to check with the latest facts on that, because they told me, yes, we're going to, and now they say maybe we won't, because it for whatever reason, scheduling or something. But, well, I don't ever want to, I shouldn't say ever about anything, but, I mean, I like to play music. I would no more want to be an actor than I'd want to be a playwright. It's conceivable, but it has never been my passion. And this, music and rock and roll is my passion.
Now, you were involved in a very lowly publicized America Online chat. Are you on the superhighway yourself? Have you seen any of the pages dedicated to you?
No and no. And, I know they exist, and that's fine. I figure I'm the last person to, the way I see it, I'd be the last person who'd want to see it. I mean, I don't want to overhear anyone's conversation about me. It's like if you meet me face to face and say something to me, great, but it's like, why in the world would I want to know what people are saying behind my back about me, whether it's pro or con? It doesn't interest me. I mean, I don't like to think about myself. I mean, I write music, and when I'm not playing it or writing it, I like to carry on another life that has nothing to do with, rock and roll, and, it just wouldn't suit my lifestyle to sort of read about myself.
You've been described as an unsung or unrecognized hero of rock and roll. Does this description fit you?
I would say an underpaid hero of rock and roll. I mean, I've certainly been recognized. It's an insult to the people who followed me for years, because there's new people coming every night, which makes me feel great, but there's also, I signed autographs last night from guys who'd seen me 10, 15 years ago, and that still means something to me, too. So I'd be, hesitant to say that some people got it from day one, and to them I tip my hat to.
Now, you described eventually as a folk pop record and stated that it wasn't as raw as some people may expect. Was this a gradual change or just something that you've?
You know, honestly, it's my latest record, and it's like what my next one's going to sound like. I don't know. I really don't know. I've always liked whatever. I mean, I'm a fan of pop music and rock and roll and folk, but this one, the songs lent themselves to this treatment, and I certainly wasn't going to make the songs what they weren't. I hate music that, you know, you put an instrument or something that happens to be of the moment just so you can get on the radio and sound like everyone else. I prefer to sound like me, and if I stick out like a sore thumb and don't fit in, then so be it. You know, these songs didn't need big banging guitars, and so I didn't give them to it. You know.
Now you're on the Melrose Place soundtrack, the Friends soundtrack, the Tommy Boy soundtrack, and
Right. Yes.
the Tank Girl soundtrack. Why so many?
Well, the Tank Girl I had no control of. That was Joan Jett's record, and she was sort of in a bind because they did a duet, and someone else backed out at the last moment. And I heard her sing it, and I thought, oh heck, I'll help you with that. So I just like took a wild stab at it, and they used that. And the other ones, a lot of it comes because I can't. If it was up to me, I'd love to be able to release a single every 6 months, like back in the glory days of pop music where you could do that. Unfortunately, you sort of have to have an album or a record, and I wanted to release a tune from eventually last year. We thought this record was going to be done last August, and I had Stain Your Blood, and it was obvious to me the record was going to take longer to meet its release, so I gave Howie Klein at Reprise Records one of the better tunes, and he put it on the soundtrack.
How do your parents feel about your fame? Are they still in touch?
Oh yeah, I talk to them and see them all the time. They enjoy it. You know, they probably enjoy it more than I do, because I mean they're hardworking people, and I try to tell them that this is my job. You know, I'm still trying to like convince them that I have a job. But they enjoy the celebrity that it brings them, and they can't see how it could possibly irritate me, which it doesn't. You know, occasionally it does when we won't have to get into it because it'll sound like I'm complaining, and I don't want to do that. But I like to be left alone when I'm not performing, and I guess that's just a natural request. But most people honor that. Some occasionally don't.
Now, I had a strange history teacher, so I learned this in history class, but did you learn the whole Catherine the Great story in history class?
Well, I know a few of the details. If there's something you'd like to share with me.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, she had one of her lovers beheaded, not a horse, but a human, and was so upset about it, she kept it beside her bed, the head.
Good Lord. When do we get the movie is what I'm wondering.
I think it was called Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, right.
After an interview on 120, Alternative Nation, Much Music, America Online, Vanity Fair, and The Times, do you feel you're a world-class fad?
Nope. I'm a company man. I have to wear many hats. It's like I never started out to do this so I could do interviews with magazines and journalists. I did this because I wanted to play rock and roll. And it's like when you get down to it, you make a record and the company puts your record out. So part of the deal is you have to do interviews. But, just like me and any, blues guitar player, anything, it's like we don't want to talk about it. We just want to do it.
You said the Replacements were a band for the 80s because they started in the dawn of the 80s and ended in 89. Do you feel you're a man for the 90s?
No, not necessarily. I wouldn't like to even put myself I'd like to be considered, timeless, classic. I could have easily been a man of the 60s or the 50s. My favorite era of fashion is the 40s, and my favorite movies are in the 30s, and I write little songs, and I don't try to gussy them up too much, so I hopefully you can like them now, and maybe you can like them in 20 years, so make that what you will.
One of my favorite tracks on the album is Hide and Seek, and do, do you want to elaborate on that for me, or?
Well, there was a song that stemmed from a guy I knew out west who told me about his trouble he had seeing his children, and he had just come from seeing them, but he had to hide out in the yard because the wife couldn't see him because there was a restraining order or something, so he had to kind of play hide and seek, and the kids had to come find him so he could visit them. It was a sad tale.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Who's your audience now?
Well, the lights are so bright I can barely tell. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a question for me to answer. I mean, I know them when I smell them.
Now on MTV, you said you'd like to try an open mic forum in concerts. I realize that's kind of tongue in cheek, but are you sure? Because I can belt out a mean waitress in the sky.
Can you now? Well, see, I haven't got the boys around to learning that one yet, so we may have to try it when we hit Nashville.
Oh, I'll be in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, then we'll definitely try it in Nashville. We'll have it by Cincinnati. No, I mean, we used to do that kind of stuff. The people have been singing along. I've been actually very surprised the last two nights that even the new record like Mom and Daddy and These Are the Days where I hear a great harmony coming and I'm looking over at Ken and he's not even singing, and I'm getting the sense that I'm getting more of a sing-along audience than I used to have, which really suits me fine because it's a very comfortable atmosphere. I feel like they came to be part of it, and I think that's what it's all about. I feel like I don't really have to hit them over the head or impress them. They're just here because they like the music, and that makes me feel great.
Now, I was really surprised. I'm watching the 120 Minutes 10-year anniversary show, and I think they're
You watch a lot of that TV, don't you?
Unfortunately, I'm a college student. I don't have much time to watch, but it was taped for me. And I thought, I'm going to be disappointed. They're not going to show anything about Paul Westerberg or the Replacements. And I kid you not, there was like tons dedicated to you and the Replacements.
You know, it was meant to be. You must have made that happen.
I mean, does that surprise you?
What, that they had stuff on us?
Yes.
No, not at all. I mean, I think any retrospective on the Rolling Stones, you're going to have footage of Bo Diddley. It's like we started something, and there's anywhere from 20 to 100 bands who took something from us, and I think that's where they feel the need to pay homage to us because we were, pioneers of a certain style that a lot of groups took further, as far as popularity. But as far as I'm concerned, we were the best. I'll be arrogant about that.
How's the album doing so far?
I haven't checked. I mean, it's climbing up and it's selling and it has the signs of doing a slow, steady climb, which is, I think, the best thing we could ask for, rather than just flying out the stores and then stalling. It's doing the opposite. It's slowly building and more and more and more. Just like the single is getting more play, I think, more on top 40 radio now, which is sort of a new thing for me. It's I'll take that. That sounds fine.
Do you think your fans are more obsessive or more relaxed?
Well, there's a mixture of both. I mean, it's hard to say my fan is, this. I tell you one thing. I think there are more. It's a little more relaxed, and there's more women than there used to be. I don't know if that's from the airplay or the fact that I wear a suit now, but we used to sort of have this drunken lout kind of guy as our basic fan, and that over the years has changed. And it's nice to see. We have an audience that isn't quite as serious and yet seem to be maybe a little more intelligent than your average concert goer.
I had some friends who had seen you in the pictures of the suit, and they were quite surprised, but I think the look really fits you.
Yeah, I mean, what would be more tiresome than for me to come out in a plaid shirt and ripped jeans, It's like, hey, go see Neil Young if you want that shit.
Your tour schedule is quite rigorous. Are you enjoying it?
Well, it's day 3 and I'm pooped, but no, I can do this. I'm an old hand at this. As long as I don't like knock my back out of whack like I did last time, I'm taking care of myself a little more. I have to stretch. I mean, I'm starting to rattle a little bit because I lived pretty hard for about 10 years, but I'm doing okay.
Now, I missed the last tour, so I've never actually seen you in concert. What can I expect?
Well, you can expect to hear one of your favorite songs and probably not all of them because there's too damn many. I'm finding that every single night. Somebody comes back and says, "Why didn't you play that?" And it's like, well, man, it's like I got about 85 songs to choose from. It's hard to know which ones to play, but you can expect a little bit of everything. Some rock and roll and some quieter songs, and hopefully leave you with a song on your lips and a kiss on your ass. I don't know.
Now, what do you think's next for you?
I don't know. I can't look beyond this. I just, I got a couple songs in my head right now that I'm kind of itching to start writing again. It's always the way it is. 6 months ago, I was in the studio and I was thinking about getting on the road. And now I'm out here and I'm, teaching the band, and I'm already thinking of writing maybe, more tunes for the next thing. So that's a healthy sign. It's like it's an ever unfolding continuation thing.
Now, last I read you were dating a woman from Zuzu's Petals. Are you still together?
Yeah, we've been together a long time. I knew her way before her band, and we knew each other for many years back before I was married even, and then we hooked up again about 5 or 6 years ago and been together. That's going very well. She's writing a book now and stuff.
Do you think the clean-cut image that you're portraying now, the only thing you do is smoke French cigars, do you think this is good?
Yeah, I don't know how clean cut. I mean, I'm not afraid to be clean cut. I mean, I've never been accused of that. I mean, I know, it's a matter if something is genuine or not. I know lots of guys who take drugs and drink and wear shabby clothes and think they're tough, and there's plenty of well-dressed guys with cufflinks could wipe the floor with them. So it's not a matter of it's down to style, and it's down to do you walk the walk and talk the talk, or are you doing this just for the hell of it? And it's like I'm in this for life, and I feel more affinity with people like B.B. King than I do with Oasis.
What do you think of the new music coming up? I mean, I hear a lot of music, and a lot of it's reflecting what the Replacements did 10 years ago, what you did. And, what do you think of it now?
I think that the record companies are making a mistake by giving too many bands a chance. That may sound harsh, but the truth is the listener gets kind of a raw deal because the listener doesn't get a quality that the record companies should sort of maintain. Instead of taking a good band and molding them into a great band and giving them a couple of chances, what they're doing is taking every no talent nobody and throwing a few dollars at them, giving them one chance, and if they don't go, they go on to the next. And, it's good for them, and it's good for radio, but it's kind of bad for bands because it doesn't give a band a chance to make mistakes. We made mistakes for 6 years before they signed us, and we learned how to do what it was we did, and that's what groups don't get today. And they really kind of need to change the guard of the record companies and nurture these groups a little more because they're bringing them along too fast. They're too green, and they get too much money and fame too fast, and they burn out at 22. It's kind of sad for them.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
How's the weather in Columbus?
Well, actually, I live in Kentucky, and right now it's
Confusing me.
I'm sorry, I live in Kentucky, but the closest show is 200 miles away in Cincinnati.
Okay, where do you live? Louisville?
I live over towards Lexington.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now, I barely missed this show, or almost missed this show, because I'm leaving for Ireland the day after your show.
Wow, what are you going to do there?
I'm going to school for a month. As a matter of fact, I'm doing an assignment for my paper.
Cool. Well, it's the home of the writers in Ireland. Give my best to the laddies over there.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
I'm sure my fiance would appreciate that, though.
Is he from Ireland?
No, well, the family is, but.
Oh, well, tell him to pray for me then.
Well, I hope to see you. Well, I will see you in Cincinnati. I'll be the girl in front row in the yellow shirt.
Okay. Will your fiancé be there?
Yes, he will.
Okay. Then I won't say anything lewd.
He's been a fan for years. I don't think he wouldn't expect it.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'll see you when we're there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the interview, and I hope to talk to you again sometime.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.